I can almost
in the first flying zoo. I wonder where I'll find the
There are 4
roos.
I wonder where I'll find the first flying duck.
This is the most amazing zoo I've seen in my whole life.
I butt round a little
Old, never been away. But.
I DM again.
Have you seen my
Outback cow.
Bobby's butt.
bill?
Old, never been away. But.
I
hope I don't wish. Come on, hep!
Pop-up save the zoo. Pop-up save the zoo. Pop-up save the zoo. Pop-up save the zoo.
Mrs. Her.
Pop-up save the zoo. Pop-up save the zoo. Pop-up save the zoo. Pop-up save the zoo.
Mrs. Her. A once
Uncle Put
better. I hope she's old
so I can go.
Sure wish
Uncle Put
better. You're going. Mrs. Her. A once
Uncle Put
better. I hope she's old
so I can go.
Sure wish
Uncle Put
better. You're going.
I wonder where I'll find the first flying duck. I wonder where I'll find the
There are 4
roos. I wonder where I'll find the first flying duck. I wonder where I'll find the first and
roos.
I butt round a little.
Old, never been away. But.
I DM again.
Have you seen my
Outback cow.
Bobby's butt.
bill?
Old, never been away. But.
I
This place is beautiful.
A once
Uncle Put
better. I hope she's old
so I can go.
Sure wish
Uncle Put
better. You're going. Mrs. Her. A once
Uncle Put
better. I hope she's old
so I can go.
Sure wish
Uncle Put
better.
Welcome to the zoo with the kangaroos and the tigers too. Welcome to the zoo. Welcome to the zoo with the kangaroos and the tigers too. Welcome to the zoo.
I butt round a little.
Old, never been away. But.
I DM again.
Have you seen my
Outback cow.
Bobby's butt.
bill?
Old, never been away. But.
I hope I don't wish.
Pop-up save the zoo. 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 Pop-up save the zoo.
Yes, hello, I have arrived. Bad way to open. Anyway, hello everyone. My name is Daramouthe, or Dara for short, and this is another Darachat. Well, I have to say the Dara part, because some people are still stuck back in first grade, and they don't know how to say words. Alright? I can't always keep correcting you guys. Learn! Learn! Oh my goodness! But anyway, I got the awesome ComixDad, which that's a funny way to spell comic. So ha ha ha.
It's like I tell people, I'm illiterate, so I get by on my good looks and double speak.
well, well, the funny thing is though is that I used to do custodial work, and you would not believe how many times people would just walk past a sign that says "Do not enter bathroom temporarily closed," and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know this was a sign there. It's right in front of you, right there." Oh,
Yeah,
hey,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of those people.
did you say closed bathroom? Yes, the sign says closed bathroom. I can't read. that's when you know you're in trouble for the rest of the day, because like, oh, this is not gonna be good. I usually call it, and there's people who can read, but they don't read well, so I usually call them literate illiterates. That's a very illiterate, if you understand what I'm saying. So there's that. But
I'm just gonna politely sit here and nod.
Round, lightning round. Can you answer? What is the circumference of the Earth? Yes.
Peaches.
That is correct. It is peaches.
And then it just goes to the quiz show portion of Billy Madison. What is it? You've wasted all of our time, or whatever it is. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to that answer. May God have mercy on your soul.
I would just simply put it as going to the commercials, and it's sort of like they end the show and you see everyone's names goes down, and then you see him act differently. He's like,
Yeah.
wow, I didn't know he was so passionate about the show. I don't think that's passion he's throwing out there. But anyway, welcome. Just smile and wave. There you go. That's how you do it. Sometimes you do like the penguins do in Madagascar. You just smile and wave, and you'll
Just
know to
smile
miss.
and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
wave.
You
And-
didn't see it.
Wait, what was that again? Oh, never mind. It's like in those like those stealth games where it's like you just do one little peek over and then you go back to hiding.
Oh yeah. Meanwhile, in jeez, why am I drawing a blank on it? Meanwhile, Metal Gear Solid, you got Snake just in a cardboard box walking around and nobody questions it. But you can peek around the corner just ever so slightly and all the alarms go off.
Oh, who was that? Who's that over there? Sound the alarms! And he's just trying to snipe them from the angle and just like, come on.
Did you see a giant exclamation point in the air? No, what are you talking about?
They see the box over there, right? Yeah, what about it? I think it moved.
No, that box has always been there. What are you talking about?
You're seeing things. It's okay. You've had this before. Last guy we had on, we had to get rid of him because he kept saying things. We can't handle you insane people when a job is right here. Okay, but it's moving right now.
It's literally inching towards us. No, it's always been there.
It's just
One
nice.
of the best stealth mechanics in video games ever is the box of Metal Gear Solid.
Oh goodness, it's just funny with those games where they have you just like I remember back in the day with the GameCube. Sometimes you get like the demo disc with different games on them.
Oh
And
yeah.
And one of the ones I had, I can't remember what the other games were, but one of them was like the Sam Fisher, what's the one? Splinter Cell games. And it was a demo one, of course. So it's like you hide, you put on your midnight goggles and all that other stuff. And then you just try to hide and try to take people out or whatever. And you like, oh, you're not supposed to kill that person. It's like, can I have a redo? Reload.
Hey, give me 1 second. Go ahead and do your say hi to your chat and do your intro, man. Give me 1 second. I gotta answer something real quick. Work never stops, man. So I'm so sorry. Give me like literally a minute.
1, 2, 3. That's when you know the time ran out. This summer, a man is giving up his life for his job. And come to find out, it was never there. He was just going into an empty building, and there were nobody around. Oh my goodness! But yeah, I used to remember playing those old games. But I don't think they do that anymore. Nowadays, you just download a demo from their store. Basically because I guess that's a new thing now. You usually get like a demo disc or something like that. I can't remember what the other games were though. I know one was Splinter Cell. I think one was a Sonic game because I remember I played that the most was the Splinter Cell one. But there were other ones too on it. It was such a different time during the GameCube era, which was like early 2000s. Yeah, early. Well, hello. How are you? That's my comics queen. Well, you're called the queen for a reason, obviously.
All right, sorry about that.
Oh,
Work
you're
never
fine.
stops. Work never sleeps.
Work never stops. Yeah, that's what they usually say, and then they end in the grave.
Yeah, pretty much. Queen Comics wife in the chat there. That's my wife. That's
Yeah.
she can tell you firsthand. Unfortunately, there's sometimes where I I will get calls like sometimes 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And,
Yeah.
I've unfortunately grown accustomed to waking up to my phone buzzing under my pillow and getting up, and I wake her up, and it's just, yeah, man, it's not the life.
Right. Goodness sake, please, just one more minute. Oh, 5 more minutes. That's why I say to my alarm clock every once in a while, and then I show it who's boss. Oh, good Lord. Then it reminds me that it's almost time to go to work. I'm like, oh, crap.
Yeah. I've got a couple alarms. I've got the alarm on my phone. Then I have alarm that is an annoying little yippy dog in the other room in her crate.
Yeah.
And then I have another alarm, which is called a child.
Child, you quiet over there, child.
Yeah. Sometimes a little just pop, just silence, just to put it on snooze.
That's a lie. She says, not going to cross into it. I like my sleep. The queen needs her rest.
Yeah, she does.
That is true, but sometimes the queen has to understand once the buzzer goes off, the britches come up and you go to work.
Oh no, it don't work. It don't work like that. No, she's great. Queen Comics wife is the best Queen Comics wife, and the only Queen Comics wife. She's the greatest Queen Comics wife, the greatest of all time.
And got a trumper here. No.
Oh yeah.
Boo! Boo! Get out of here!
I'm used to it at this point. There, unfortunately, where we live, there have been not too many, but there have been a handful of acquaintances and friends that we have lost because of the nonsense that comes with that. So
yeah, the whole ordeal just kind of reaches back to like your favorite football team. Oh, you don't like my Patriots? You don't like my Patriots? Well, too bad. I'm a Steelers fan. Well, hold on. You said you were a Patriots fan. Now you're saying a Steelers. What team are you on? You get that sort of thing.
Whatever team is against you.
Yeah. Work from home. That's the best kind of work from home. It means I get to sleep in more. Unfortunately, I don't get that.
Yeah.
But no, it's just a very silly, contrived thing. But then again, it's like it's nothing new under the sun. I mean, tribalism has been a thing for ages. We just found ways of making it more annoying. And part of that is social media, unfortunately. But yeah, it's kind of.
We've given it different names over the decades and over the centuries too.
Yeah, well, first we said, and then we went, I see thing. That my thing. No, that my thing. You shut up.
Ugta like blue, but Ugta like red. Oh.
Steelers. Boo, Stellar.
Oh yeah.
Steelers.
Yeah, no, she meant Steelers.
Steelers.
Man, we unfortunately are a Browns family. If you know anything about football, so,
well,
the factory of sadness lives on.
Every time we walk to the stadium, we hear the boos more than we hear the cheers, and the sad day continues again. I'm not much of the only sports thing I was the Olympics, but that sort of waned over time. So I'm not really a sports type of person. I'll root for you, but it's just not my forte of things. Like, oh, what'd you think about them 49ers? I've not watched anything.
They're a team. They exist, and it sounds like they won. So good for them.
Yeah, it sounds like
I've been there.
It sounds like they went for digging for gold back in the early 1800s, and that's where you based a football team off of.
Sounds like a Scooby Doo. Sounds like a Scooby Doo villain.
I would have gotten away with it too.
The minor 49er.
But everyone hates me for being a Mets fan. Well, don't be a Mets fan. Then you won't be hated.
I told her that. I told her the biggest way to solve that is just don't watch baseball anymore.
Well, the funniest thing you see people say, and it's nothing against, it's sort of like you see, well, everyone hates me because I like this thing. Well, then don't like this thing. But I like that thing. Well, then don't complain about it.
Was it right above her? There's somebody else that popped in on the Rumble side.
Tiny Panda.
That said hi. Yeah. Hey, Tiny Panda Face.
Tiny Panda.
Yeah, I saw she was over here a few weeks back.
Yeah.
Tiny Panda Face is good people. I when I was looking into starting to do my thing over on the Rumble side, She was really helpful with some tips and tricks and stuff. So Tiny Panda Face, shout out! Everybody go check out Tiny Panda Face, but not right now.
Yeah, she's tiny. You may miss her. That's why she's called Tiny Panda Face.
Very
And
true.
she's not even a panda face, to be honest. That's kind of a lie in itself. What kind of nonsense is your name, Tiny Panda Face? What kind of nonsense is this?
Well, I mean, not to be too on the nose, but and I'll just leave it at that. She's fully self-aware, or else she wouldn't have made that her name.
When you're starting to point that, I was like, you know what? Maybe there's not such a bad thing after all.
No, she is fully self-aware. She knows what she did.
Yeah. Piazza is gorgeous still to this. Piazza. For a second there, I thought she said pizza. I was like, well, yes, pizza
Mike
would
Piazza.
be nice. Yeah. Piazza, come over here. Let me tell you a story. Get out of my face.
Hey, what's the matter with you, huh?
Don't mess with
dude,
my.
You're getting back deep into me and Comics Wife's roots. We're both originally from New Jersey, so if I need to turn on the Guido the Italian, I can do it, huh?
Hey,
like the real Italian though, not those fake ones that come over from like Staten Island or from the five boroughs and go down to the shore or just for the summer that they make the stupid fucking TV show.
hey, who you calling fake? Do you want me to come over there with Uncle Tony and show you what it means to be a real person? Come on.
And it's like the South Park episode, you muff cabbage.
I'm a real Jersey girl. Ooh, real Jersey girl. Oh my goodness. Now we're gonna get people from real New York. I'm a real New York person. What difference does it make? But yeah, it's just kind of funny when you see that kind of stuff online. It's just like you have these people who are for or against stuff, and they lose people over. And I really like to just point out, hey, guess what? You want to know a real something that's more important than your stupid team play? Hey, guess what? You're gonna be dead one day. How's that sound for you?
Mm-hmm.
It just what the biggest equalizer is death, and everyone keeps forgetting that because your team thing isn't going to matter after you're gone. Your politics, your football teams, none of that's going to matter after you're gone. So why the hell is that more important now than it is later? I don't understand it. I've dated Long Island Italians; they're nuts. I think some of that. I think some of that.
Are.
I think some of that rubbed off on you, Tiny. But anyway, but yeah, it's just the thing of all the silliness stuff, because I don't give a rat's behind about politics. I've done my voting part or whatever, but I really don't. I don't care, because at the end of it all, I can do more with this than I can do at a voting box that just seems to be waffle. It's sort of like going to that family dinner every Thanksgiving, and you try to say to your uncle, hey, you might want to keep away from that Jack Daniels, but he likes to take a sip every once in a while because he likes that honey one that Jack Daniels does, because he has a little that sweet tooth. And then he's back at it again, telling everyone's family secrets and all that stuff. And then you just like, I remember your mom. She was a bit of a town player. Dad! Uncle, Grandpa, can you tell me more? Shut up, kid! I'm not done yet.
It's what was it? I'm gonna throw out another South Park reference. Stan's grandpa. Oh, mind your business, Billy. It's Stan.
Yeah. I don't care about that. Drive me to the store.
Stan, I'm proud of you, Billy. Stan.
Oh man, I haven't watched any. I think the last something I saw of that was I would watch their concert at the Red Rock.
Yeah, in Colorado there. Yep.
Yeah. And it was pretty interesting. I mean, they it looks like they did more than just one day, but I only saw the one that they put on YouTube, because it was pretty interesting. But yeah, that's pretty much the only thing. I've never really been a watcher of South Park, just because it's on cable. It used to be like on public TV, it'd be like on the CW or WB or whatever at times, later at night.
Yeah.
Because it's South Park. But it's just one of those things that it still survived. But you also have things like The Simpsons, which feels like just an empty corpse walking around as if it's human.
Yeah, I haven't watched The Simpsons, and I think the newest episode of The Simpsons that I ever watched was, I think, about maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually no, maybe six, because it was before all the lockdown and
Mm,
false flagging
yeah.
nonsense. But yeah, it just didn't hit the way that The Simpsons hit in the '90s and then like the early 2000s. It just didn't hit the same way. It didn't like.
Yeah. Well, and the thing of it too is like the original voice of Marge passed away some odd years ago, and it's like I get the other ones are alive, but how do you keep going on when your original voice actor for the woman herself is already done and gone? Now, obviously, they did find someone, but it's sort of like I mean, it's been on for so long, it just needs to go. I think the reason that Simpson is still going is because Matt Groening needs a paycheck every now and then.
Yeah, well, what was it? They brought back Futurama, and Hulu used it. Hulu took it over
Yeah,
because Hulu at the time was owned by Fox.
yeah,
Before Disney bought the majority of 20th Century Fox and bought Hulu and all that stuff.
yeah,
So all I'm hoping for is that Disney Hulu does not try to do more Futurama. I haven't watched any of the Hulu Futurama
mhm,
episodes, but from my understanding, they are pretty good. They are almost on par with Futurama, with peak Futurama.
mhm,
But if they announce that they're putting out any more, it may have the Hulu logo on it. We all got to remember, freaking Disney owns Hulu and owns 20th Century Fox at this point.
yeah,
So, or at least I think most of 20th Century Fox.
yeah,
So anything that will come out on Hulu is technically Disney IP
yeah.
at that point moving forward, unless it's something that was like in production before the sale was finalized. But
Yeah, that was the Deadpool Wolverine movie. Was one of those things. But yeah, I don't even think it's called 20th Century Fox anymore. It's called like 20th Century or something like that. I can't remember, like Spotlight Cinema or something. I
yeah,
can't
I
remember
have
what
no
it's called
idea.
now. It's been so long. I don't give a care. But that's also another thing too. Is like you know I stepped into this thing kind of just doing this, and and then they knocked before they came in.
Yeah, now the other way around. One of the kids poked their head in and went oop and closed the door.
Dad says it's time to stay out.
Yeah, pretty much. Uh,
um, but no, it's sort of another thing doing this content creation thing where I've been doing this sort of thing for quite some time, and the field of it all, the whole field of it, is so silly and disastrous at the same time. It was our oldest. Okay, she made a correction there. It was the oldest. She's nosy. She's nosy. Does
oh
that mean
yeah.
does she mean like a nose like Pinocchio? Just whoop.
Hey, you know what, man? You've been there. How many times did you lie to your parents, and did I lie to mine?
I
So we all had that Pinocchio nose at one point,
I don't remember. It usually ended up with a whack.
pretty much.
Yeah, but no,
Not now, not now. For anybody out there watching that may or may not be assuming the worst.
yeah, I'm not getting any punishment. I'm doing just fine.
No, no, I meant for my kids. Not the same, not the
She's a
same.
little. You know what? I believe that's what some moms say until it becomes too ferocious, and then she's like, "She's the devil child. I can't believe where she came from."
Oh yeah, she's saying that now. Give it till the weekend comes around. And then once the weekend's over and she's back in school for 8.5 hours a day,
Yeah.
she's a perfect little angel. The weekend hits and she's home 48 whole hours. Oh, go the hell back to school.
Hey, horse stream. How you
Hey,
doing?
horror stream.
My baby, my baby. But yeah, but being a parent is always the fun stuff. Hey,
Oh, it is,
is
man. I wouldn't give it up for anything. It's
this is
highs
the
and lows. The
spawn.
highs outweigh the lows every single friggin' time.
Yeah, our youngest is the spawn of comics now. Well, that certainly was an interesting conversation to have at the hospital. Push, honey, push.
Yeah, if it wasn't if she wasn't the spawn of ComixDad, there'd be a lot, I'd be streaming from somewhere else, or I'd be a guest streaming from somewhere else right now.
Just like him. Well, you know what? It's better to have something than nothing at all. I didn't push.
No, no, no.
She's
Just
she just said, "I'm done with this. Get it out now."
yeah,
Um,
pretty much. But
but
anyway,
but and then we talk about the age of 10 to 12, and then we go from there. No,
and then we spent the whole stream talking about childbirth.
no, the anatomy discussion is not going to go well tonight. I'm just saying that right now. Just
No,
saying that right
no,
now.
definitely not.
And this class over here is what we call the hey, Scottish Viking, how are you doing? How are you good, sir? But yeah, no, it's just funny like that. But oh man, I lost my thought there for a second.
Yeah, you're good.
Dang it!
This 26 minutes in, we've kind of been all over the place already.
That's what it's all about. That's right. That's right. I was talking about the whole of the content creation sphere is amazing and disastrous all in one go. I don't know what your experience has been, obviously, because I think you just started not only a month ago doing the onto Rumble.
Yeah, a month ago on Rumble, I did like a soft launch of my channel over on the Rumble side,
Hmm.
and I have been on the YouTube side since the end of December. Was when I launched my YouTube channel. So I'm only about what, give or take, 3.5 months into this whole thing. But yeah, it's been a wild ride, and I've experienced some things, and I've seen some things from the outside looking in that make a lot more sense now. So
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I've always found it funny when there have been content creators saying, oh, it's not easy, it's hard, and then sometime later they're asked, how do I start? How do I get? Oh, you just pick up a camera and a microphone and you're good. What? Which one is it? You can't.
yeah, it's and people aren't technically wrong for saying that. I think it's more of a matter of, instead of giving an affirmative response, I think they need to answer it with a question. What is it that you want to accomplish by starting a channel or a TikTok or whatever form of content you want to do? What is
Right.
it you want to accomplish? And then from there, you can give the answer of, oh, okay, well, yeah, just pick up a camera and go, or, oh, well, you need to approach it from this angle, or it's just saying pick up a camera and go is a very insincere response.
I'd actually have something simple. It's like, why do you want to be a content creator?
Yeah,
Well, it's as simple. It's the simplest question. Why do you want to be a content creator? Oh, because I saw this, and okay. But why do you want to be a content creator? You saw these people do this thing, sure. But why do you want to be a content creator? Not because they did the thing. Why do you want to do the thing? Because that's the interesting contriving factor that I found is that you have a lot of people who not all of them, but there are some of them for the money aspect, some of them for the fame aspect, some of them for the numbers aspect, the many different aspects of it, and people run a business out of this or whatever. But the thing that always comes back to me is, why are you doing this, right? Because then again, you hear about burnout, right? You hear
oh
about
yeah,
people getting burnout, whatever. And so you kind of ask yourself, okay, so why am I doing this? And it's not, sometimes it's an easy question to answer, and sometimes it isn't, because you sometimes don't remember why you started in the first place.
yeah. Well, what is it? Prime example. Like I said, I'm only about maybe 3.5, almost 4 months into this new venture of mine, and I already experienced my first hit of burnout. I
Mm,
was for about the first 2 months, I was doing like 5 streams a week, but it was all gaming streams. It was
mm,
pretty much exclusively gaming streams. Like, don't get
yeah,
me wrong, I love playing video games and all that stuff, but between that and I wasn't, my eyes weren't trained yet to be able to like look at chat, look at screen, look at chat, look at screen,
yeah,
and so between that and then also just with having a full time job, doing the things around the house that's required of a husband and a father, and helping out with the kids, trying to make time for the kids and the family, all that stuff. Like I eventually got burnt out where I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to be doing gaming streams literally every other day, sometimes 2-3 days in a row. Now I've kind of got myself down to, okay, well, I stream on Sundays and Mondays. Thursdays are for my non-gaming live streams, and then Friday more game stream. And I didn't even necessarily start the channel to be a gaming streamer. It just kind of turned into that.
Yeah.
But like, I know why I started the channel. I mean, yeah, I was kind of inspired by people, but like WDW Pro over on YouTube, and people like Drug 3PO and Epic Mike, and then I came across the GCA once I dove down the whole Geeks and Gamers rabbit hole. So like all these different channels that I was enjoying, I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But what really started for me was I kind of just sat there one day and I had the epiphany and the realization that was like, well, I want to start getting back into comics again. I want to start reading comics again.
Yeah.
But because part of our thing is where we live, we don't live in New Jersey anymore. But where we live, our closest relatives are about 2 to 3 hours away. We unfortunately just it's kind of how it is nowadays, where it's a lot harder to meet people, a lot harder to make acquaintances and friends and stuff like that. And we don't really have anybody that we know that we either is willing to maybe take the kids off of our hands, or that we would trust with taking the kids off of our hands to have like a night out, or whether it's just me or just the missus going to do something or whatever. So we're kind of always just stuck home.
Yeah.
Until the rare occurrence when like a relative or somebody comes out to visit us, and then they are kind enough to give us kind of a night or a day and a half or so for us to go do our thing, whether it's together or individually. So I was like, well, you know what? I have all this free time at home. I can't really go anywhere and do much. But you know what? I want to get back into comic books again. I want to start collecting again. I want to start talking about comic books with people again. Let me start a channel and just kind of do some comic book stuff. Because, I mean, there's plenty of channels out there that do comic book reviews and talk about comic news and stuff like that. But I never really saw a channel that did kind of what I initially started the channel to do, which was just comic book readings. And that's pretty much the primary video series that I have both on my Rumble and my YouTube channel. It's called Comics Read Along. And that's it was literally, dude, all it is, I don't know if you've seen them before, but it's just me going through comics I was able to find digitally online and just putting them on the screen. And either people can mute my ass and read it themselves, or they can sit there and listen to me read it. And I try to do the best I can. I'm no professional voiceover actor or anything like that, but I try to do a couple of different voices just to change it up, make it a little entertaining. But I like reading comics, so I was like, yeah, well, let me share that with other people. People can read some of these great stories, because the comic book industry, it's always been a niche thing. But like it had its big boom in the 80s and the 90s, and then started kind of slowly fading away throughout the 2000s. And now we're at a point where people don't really give a shit about comics anymore, unfortunately, except for back to that like core niche group of people.
Right.
And even then, with like the cost of printing, like physical media trying to be eradicated by people that hate physical media for some reason. Like, so eventually, especially all these older books from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s that have some of the greatest stories ever written, regardless of whether it's comic books or actual novels, arguably. I want to be able to share those with people. I want to try and do my part to try to just keep both those stories alive, and also just do my part to try to keep comic books alive for the everyday average person. Yeah. Not necessarily the people that are going to know these stories are going to go to comic shops and find the back issues and all that stuff.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think also too that's more of the American comics, because I know that many of videos in what was like months ago, where it was people were going into like Barnes and Noble and seeing that the shelves of American comics were kind of slimming down, while you had the Japanese side of things kind of grow. And I don't. So when you're saying on the less of stuff, yeah, sure, like the American side kind of has spit in the faces of to some degree of the people, but again, they made that choice and people have the option to buy or not.
Right.
But
especially the big two publishers, Marvel and DC specifically.
Yeah. Yep, yep, and of course you got smaller ones. Like I know there's like Image, Iconic Comics or Image Comics. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah,
Um,
well, Iconic Comics is a publisher. They're an independent publisher.
mhm,
Image Comics is a publisher that publishes creator-owned stories. So, like, as
mhm.
opposed to DC and Marvel, they own all the stories that they print and publish.
Yeah, yeah.
Image doesn't. Image has like a contract or some kind of an agreement with the actual creators of those comics and of those stories that they're publishing.
Yep.
So kind of like similar to, I don't know how familiar you are with Rippaverse, and then also their end print that they started
Mhm.
last year called Ripascend.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the equivalent of Ripascend,
Mhm.
sort of,
Hey, Joe.
where Image is just providing the outlet for being able to get those books published, and
Mhm.
then they'll throw their logo on it. But the actual comics, the stories, the IP still belong to the people that created it.
Mhm.
So an Image, I've gotten since I've gotten back into comics, Image, IDW, Dark Horse, and then even smaller people that are just doing literally their own publishing and everything. Like I
Mhm.
have dove hard into the indie comic scene since I got
Mm.
back into comics because the quality overall, for the most part, is better.
Mhm.
It's just better. And it's not just superheroes. We're getting a whole bunch of great different kinds of stories:
Yeah.
monsters, horror, sci-fi.
Yeah.
What is it? Just slice of life type of stuff.
Mhm.
So it's just for the most part, it's just overall better quality stuff because it's people that are doing their own thing actually care about their stories and their product,
Right.
as opposed to Marvel and DC where it's, well, we just want to make money.
Well, I mean, that's the baseline of what makes a business anyway, is can it make the income in order to supplement its ability to make a product, right? That's
Yeah,
all business, right? Small, big, doesn't matter. Well, big can take a hit, small businesses can't. But the ironic point is that I think the indie will have a better time. It's just when you're independent, you rely on people to either pre-order or pay up ahead for those comics, which is
mm,
a whole nother ball game in itself when you have an industry, when you're basically competing against another industry that is flooding the field with all different sort of stuff, whether you agree with it or not. And I think competition is great. Competition shows who's really willing to take the stand to make a better product or otherwise. But I do feel like there's a point to where the stories are, you're just throwing different things out there, recycling bits and pieces to tell a different story.
yeah.
And in the end, there's not much too much difference. Hey, nice to see you, Gaming Chan.
Hey, Gabby
Um,
Chad.
but um, but yeah, so I think the independent will have a better shot than the big two, but big two will still have what's the word? They'll still have name power, which is a
Like,
big thing.
absolutely,
Mm,
absolutely. And I mean, pretty much it'll always be that way. But basically, what kind of the fight or the fight
mm,
currently is that or at least what I personally see starting to happen
mm,
is that the indie comic scene and especially the creator, not just owned but creator published scene,
yeah.
is just kind of branching off, and they're
Mm,
not even necessarily trying to compete with Marvel and DC. They're more just kind of going off into their own corner of the hobby and just saying, you know
mm,
what, we're just going to set up our own little home base over here.
mm,
You two can duke it out with all your self insertion with your activist editors and writers and all that stuff, and we're just gonna go over here and do our thing, and we'll leave you guys alone to just crash and fail and burn on your own.
right. I don't think in the set of writing, I don't think you'll ever fully get away from a self insertion because you write what you know. Basically, is down to that point. So
Yeah.
you'll never have people fully get away with that, even if it's just a small, very small bit. There
Oh
always
yeah,
be a
well
point.
I meant more like the obvious, like they're not even trying to hide that. Oh, you know what? I'm just writing about me, or I'm just creating me because me. And we've been seeing some of that more and more in not just comics, in video games. We've been
Hmm.
seeing a lot of that crap in video games as well.
Hmm.
So it's just, and people are getting sick and tired of it because it's not just that it's self insertion; it's self insertion of, like I said, more or less basically activists who are trying to push a message. They're not trying to create a good story. They're trying to create their story.
Right.
They're not trying to entertain others. They're trying to feel seen, and they're trying to push their message and ideologies. And it's tiresome. People have had enough.
Right.
The only good thing that Marvel has been doing is over the last year plus, Ultimate Spider-Man. This is the only good thing that I can talk about from Marvel Comics. We get to see Peter Parker and MJ, even though it's like an alternate timeline type of deal. I don't know how much you know about the Ultimate Universe of back in the day, of back in the 2000s.
Right.
But basically, they've revived or recreated the Ultimate Universe, and Peter Parker in this becomes Spider-Man in his 30s. He's already, him and MJ are married, they have kids, he's got an established career working at the Bugle and all sorts of stuff, but it's written by Jonathan Hickman, has a great career in comics. Whether it's his work with DC and with Marvel, or when he was doing stuff with various titles over at Image, but Jonathan Hickman is pretty much the only reason why people have any interest in Marvel Comics right now, because a lot of the interest in Marvel Comics, besides people that just go chase pretty covers and collect them, people want to read Ultimate Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man is like the only title people genuinely want to read on a large scale right now coming out of Marvel. Everything else is all the independent stuff. Image, IDW, Dark Horse, and then the crowdfunding stuff on top of it.
Yeah, definitely account the many different forms of crowdfunding, to be honest. But that's also another danger in itself, is on the crowdfunding side, is you can have people who crowdfund and never fulfill. And so that's also something you have to be wary of, especially for the independent, is that if they don't have a record of putting out their stuff within a reasonable time upon of what they said, then it might be something to be wary of, because again, you do have this sort of thing where people can just take the money and run, sort of ordeal.
For sure. And there's, fortunately, there are multiple platforms now. It's not just Kickstarter. There's Indiegogo, there's Fund My Comic, and there's enough creators on there that have been able to create 1 or 2 or 3 successful campaigns that, and all these people are really approachable too. Like I've been in touch with or spoken with several people that have gone out and created their own stuff through crowdfunding, and it's good stuff. It's kind of like a word of mouth type of deal, and you'll find out either on your own or through word of mouth what creators are reliable when it comes to the crowdfunding indie comics and who isn't. And there's a particular corner of the internet that is very high on a certain title or a certain group of individuals or certain individual that has yet to come through on something that was fully funded, I think, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. So I'm not going to drop names or anything like that, because I personally, I'm not going to say, I can't sit here and say I'm an expert on the topic, but I've read enough and I've read between the lines and I've been able to piece enough together to kind of figure out what's what. But for anybody that's watching and follows anything regarding specifically Rippaverse, I'm not talking about Rippaverse, but these people are basically very opposite of Rippaverse. So, and that's kind of all I'll say on that. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm not like a Rippaverse fanboy sitting here going, "Oh, well, Rippaverse above everything else." Blah blah blah. Don't get me wrong, I love the Rippaverse stuff; it's really cool. But it just, but there's a whole corner of the internet that is just specifically out there to kind of try to hurt Rippaverse, and at the center of it is somebody who is, like you were talking about with the dangers of crowdfunding. And it just doesn't make sense to me. Why rally around somebody that hasn't delivered on what was paid for?
It's like, and it's just like how they ruined She-Hulk. I was so disappointed. Well, at least they didn't get another season, so I mean, there's something right there to celebrate on. But I also think a lot of people, to some degree, when they were doing that sort of like review of that show, my thing that has been with content creators is, or at least who do that sort of thing, is that it's when they get and start using final terms, right? Nobody saw this. No one was watching, blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, that's not true. That's more of not enough was watching, because it's about money at the end of the day. Like these like ABC or whoever
Oh, for
needs the
sure.
money. But my thing has become is you have a lot, have a big chunk of this. Batman is not a superhero. Prove me wrong. I have a song about it on Suno. Don't sing, don't make him sing it.
Oh man, I mean, I can't necessarily, I I can't necessarily disagree with that take, but I can't fully get on board with that take either. I could see where you're coming from, Jake Ool or Jake Ooey. I can't see if that's an L or an I.
Joe
Joe
Cool.
Cool. Okay,
Joe Cool.
sorry. I'm illiterate and blind apparently. But so I can't necessarily back you on that take, but I'm not going to say you're completely wrong for that either. So I can see where you're coming from. But anyway,
No, yeah, and I just I'm not the big comic book. I've only read one comic book in my life, and it was a Sonic one a very long time ago. And
okay.
after that, it's just been manga. But
I
but
did
yeah,
nothing wrong with manga. Manga is kind of like what you were touching on earlier. Manga has over the last like 2-3 years especially has kind of just taken the Western world by storm.
yes, because well, part of it is probably because of like One Piece and stuff. You have
Oh, for sure. But
One Piece,
it's also
Dragon
the
Ball.
Japanese are based as fuck.
That depends on what part you're talking about, because there's a lot of stuff people could disagree with too. Uh,
Yeah.
what is he
The
saying?
the older and predominantly male manga creators.
Joe, Joe Kill, what are you trying to do, man? What are you trying to do?
What
You
are
trying
his
to disagree?
superpowers, or did mommy and daddy just buy him a bunch of toys? Well, mommy and daddy, I guess, through the transitive property, bought him a bunch of toys
Uh,
because their deaths gave him the money to buy the toys.
yeah.
No, he definitely does not have superpowers. You do not have. All right, so I won't say Batman is a superhero, but Batman is a hero. There, if you take the word "super" out of it, then that's a correct statement to say.
I would say he's a smart hero,
Yes, he
because
is the world's greatest detective in the DC universe. So.
yeah, Alpha's real put up with him for so long. Well, see, now you're just
Alfred is a G.
now you're just splitting hairs, because then you gotta ask, what about Alfred are you talking about now? Because
Oh yeah.
you have
Animated series Alfred, best
oh,
Alfred, hands down.
okay, you have that, but I still like I still like there's the Joel Schumer Alfred during those the Alfred that was used during like the 90s, and then
Yeah.
and of course Michael Caine played a pretty good Alfred, I
Yeah.
thought.
Oh, absolutely. Michael Caine, anything is at bare minimum a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10.
Probably you're you're just throwing it out like fire. Alfred was the
The
best in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, Alfred's superpower was to be incredibly low key savage.
His actual power was to be British and to be like Simon Cowell. It's like, I
Yeah.
didn't like that.
But back we were talking about manga.
Yeah,
And coincidentally I have an
One
omnibus
Piece.
right here. So
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I've tried to buy a few, but I've not. Yeah, I know there's Dragon Ball, and of course there's a few other ones too. But my expertise lies elsewhere, because I've read stuff from Clamp. If you don't know who Clamp is, they're Mangaka Circle. They created Card Captor Sakura, if anyone
okay.
knows who that is, or and a few other ones too. XXX Holic, and then Subasa Chronicles was kind of like a crossover with XXX Holic, but the but there's a whole wide range of stuff, and some of it can get just as ridiculous as the titles themselves.
Oh, for sure. I just when I go to the bookstore to go look for more omnibuses and new volumes and stuff, I see some of these titles. I go, where? Well, first off, obviously, it's not going to be a one. It's never a one-to-one translation. So,
Yes.
but even then, though, even in the Japanese language, these titles are so damn long. Like, where did they come up with these? Like, does it roll off the tongue in Japanese as opposed to in English? I have no idea. But
And he has a question for you. A big anime fan, what's your favorite non-mainstream manga turned anime that you considered underrated? So not.
Non-mainstream manga that turned anime.
Mm,
Now, see, I can't say for certain. Google is a powerful tool. So let's say before I answer this question, real quick.
so those the devil's handiwork. Google's the devil.
uh, okay, yeah. So it looks like it did start as a manga. Okay, so back in the late '90s, early 2000s, there was an anime that was on. I think it was 4Kids TV on Saturday afternoons over on Fox or WB, something like
Fox,
one of
yeah,
those two.
Fox. Yeah.
It was called Zatch Bell.
Oh yes, I
Zatch
remember.
Bell, in my opinion, is a super underrated anime.
Mm.
It was so much fun. I never watched the Japanese. I'm a filthy casual when it comes to anime. I will
Yeah.
watch subs if I have to, but I
Mm.
don't want to have to read. If I don't have to, I'd
Right.
rather, so long as the English voice acting is serviceable.
Yeah.
As long as it's passable, I will watch it. If it's not passable, then I'll go check out the sub
Yeah.
and enjoy it over on that end. But yeah, I would say Zatch Bell is, at least in my opinion, heavily underrated. For a manga property that was turned into an anime.
Yeah. And then you had Shaman King was another one during that time period. I think Naruto was during that time period too.
Oh,
Um,
Naruto's super mainstream, dude.
yeah.
Yeah, but no, Zatch Bell, like I've maybe met like 10 people total in my life from the time I was a kid watching Zatch Bell to now that I actually know what Zatch Bell is.
There was one called the ones, or at least one during playing that time, was a fighting Fudan, which was you battle with food.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my god, I haven't heard Fighting Foodons. I haven't heard that name in so long.
Yep.
Oh, a wave of memories just kind of oh my god.
And the
What
theme
did
song
you do
too.
to me, Dara?
Well, and the thing it is that the fighting Fudan theme song is based on an old classical piece, but it's fighting Fudons.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Kit Kat song.
it basically is. And then you had the wrestler one, which I can't remember the name of.
Yes.
Um,
Okay. Yeah.
and because
Where
during
the masks is where they get their wrestling power from.
Yeah, and it's because
Yeah.
one part of the intro has him just blasting off a fart.
Yup. Yeah, I can't remember the name of that one, but I know exactly which one you're talking about. And coincidentally, they were all on the same channel on
Yeah,
Saturday mornings.
yeah. That was Fox Kids right there, because Fox Kids
Yeah,
also
it was
had
Fox Kids.
Dragon Ball 2, but I mean, then again, you also had like Magic School Bus on that as well. So I love a little Richard, singing a little song, "Rockin' Fever of Lava." Um, but yeah, there's those things you remember, and again, you had the Power Rangers back during that time, and then a
Hmm.
whole bunch of stuff. I mean, the Power Rangers is still going on. That's when you know it's time to hang it up.
Oh yeah, it's after I would say probably Power Rangers in Space is
Yeah,
probably where they should have stopped the franchise. Because I
I
don't know any. I can't say I've seen kids over the last hell 15, maybe even almost 20 years since I stopped watching Power Rangers as a kid. I haven't seen any kids really walking around with Power Rangers merchandise
yeah.
like
Well,
ever.
the last
So I
one I
don't know where the
remember,
audience is.
yeah, the last one I remember was like the Time Cop thing, where they were time cop
Yeah,
or whatever, and the
yeah,
Blue Owl as their friend. Joe Kuehl, I think it's because of all the gore and beheadings. I think that's why it's
yeah.
rated 18 plus. Although there's many different manga that are rated 18 plus, but it's a little different. But it's mostly probably for you're cutting a demon's head off. So if you've never seen
Yeah, over
the
in the East,
movies,
they take that a lot. Like they're, I guess, okay with that as opposed to over in the West, or it's just people that are because the TV rating system is just
different.
stricter over here
Mm.
in certain aspects, but it's also very strict over in Japan in certain aspects as well.
Yep.
If they, well, actually, I don't even know if they have a TV rating system over there. To be honest,
Oh no, they do. They do.
they do. Okay,
Um,
yeah, I don't know too much about like how Japanese entertainment works in terms of like their television and their movies and stuff like that.
right.
All I know is that stuff will come over here and I'll enjoy the living hell out of it.
And yeah, some of it comes over here, some of it gets censored. It's always like because they did censor like One Piece when they had, because Sanjo, the blonde shaft haired one, there would be a scene where he's sucking on a sucker, but that's actually a cigarette.
Yep.
So
Yeah, and that
there are
was.
things where it's yeah.
I watched a video about that one time. The 4 kids
Yeah.
censored version versus the actual animation. It's real interesting because I can't even, especially now because I've gone back and I've rewatched the entirety of One Piece
Mm.
2 or 3 times. I put Queen Comics Wife through, or Comics Wife in the Rumble chat. I put her through it. We're almost caught up to where the dub is right now. We stopped as they were hitting Egghead Island.
Oh.
But for through about 6 months, I put her through the grind from 1 to 1100.
Wow.
but because I've watched it, I can't. Watching that comparison video, I sat there. I was like, oh, holy hell, yeah! No, it was a lollipop when I was a kid. How could I never notice that?
Well, and if you ever want to look up, the Digimon as well was heavily
Yep.
censored in some parts. But anyway, Joel is asking, where do you go to read a manga nowadays? Well, I have. There's one place I've gone to, but that's only for a certain occasion. Was Manga Dex, is one, but there's not really any place you can go watch any anime stuff because they've gone out to try to take those sites down, especially the manga ones. They're really cracking down hard on those things. The
Yeah.
one I used to go to is no longer around. So it is what it is, unfortunately.
For me, it's I either will do one of two things.
Mm.
Either I will just go and buy physical manga, or go out and get physical anime. Or the other thing is I will be a good boy and a good law-abiding citizen, and I will have a Crunchyroll subscription for the anime, and then also anime that you can find on like Netflix and all the other streaming services and whatnot. And then I will read my manga if I can't get it physically. I have a Shonen Jump digital subscription, which I just turn on my tablet, and I'll just read shonen manga on my tablet from there.
Yeah, because I know there's I know Jump came out with like an app, or yeah, I think it was Jump that
and
came
it's
out
real cheap. It's real affordable too. It's like $3 a month, and you get access to their entire library.
And my favorite characters, my goodness, talking about getting tattoos on there. Goodness sake.
Yeah, Comics Wife loves her Demon Slayer.
All stream, not sure if I should say here. Well, maybe you should just let it go for now. You can pay for it, of course. Yeah, I think it's best not to mention that because you don't want people finding it. Hey, good sir, how are you?
Hey,
good sir. Hi forever. See, now this is a little scary. You're just saying hi to infinity right there. Hi forever. says hi forever. Hello infinity. I welcome you. But yeah. So I mean, hold on. Let me see if I can't find any of mine.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, I just happen to have these sitting here on the desk from one of my last couple of streams that I did. I was gonna talk some manga, and they're not coming up, but then I forgot to put them back on my shelf. So I just happen to have these sitting here as I grabbed them.
Yeah. No. 1 second.
But while Dara's going and doing that, for anybody that is into manga, this book that I did show off, I definitely recommend it. It's called Colorless. It was written as some guy over in Japan. He initially, I think it was over in Japan, but he initially wrote it as a college project, and then people in his class liked it, and then I think like about a decade, maybe a little bit less, like maybe 8 years to 10 years later, he decided to actually take that original story he wrote for university or for college, and then get it, expand on it, write it, and turn it into a manga. So it's really cool. It's black, white, grayscale world. Color is gone. People have heard of color, but it's almost like a very, very fine, rare, almost mystical or mythical element at this point.
Right.
And this badass looking dude actually either finds, it's been a while since I've read this, I gotta go back and read it, but he either finds some color or he has some, but basically it like supercharges him, and it gives you like power. Or it could be used as like a ridiculous energy source. And it's really cool. And there's like conspiracy type of stuff in there, and like some kind of a fanatic group that is involved in the storyline in one some way, shape, or form. There's currently, I think, 6 volumes of it out right now.
Nice.
So it's a fun read. It's been a little over a year since I've read it. I got to go back and start reading it from one. But yeah, I definitely recommend it though. From what I do remember, colorless.
Colorless.
Yeah, colorless. So definitely for anybody out there who likes straying off the path of the mainstream manga, go check out Colorless.
Nice. And I'll show a few of mine. I can't show them all because teen and older. But anyway, it is the top of the hour, and so what I do is I set aside some time for us to self promote, and of course, of course your links are down below. Hold on. Yeah, of course your links are down below. So if people want to go check you out, all your links I could find are down there. But if
I
you
appreciate it, man.
no problem. I do that for everyone. So, but if you want to sell yourself, not like that, the floor is yours.
Well, since I see that predominantly our audience is over on Rumble, I do have a Rumble channel, ComixDad. It's not 100% fully alive yet. I have my primary video series over there, Comics Read Along, where you get to listen to me read comic books. And the comic books are actually up on the screen, though, for everybody to follow along.
Nice.
Also, we did about 3 weeks ago. I do have my Thursday live streams are now streaming on Rumble. So I have 2 different live stream shows. One called Talk and Shop, and these shows take place. They basically alternate weeks. Mm-hmm. So I have one show called Talk and Shop where I have various guests on, kind of like what you and I are doing now, just kind of chit-chatting about stuff, but a lot of what we did in the beginning about talking about comic books, and people come on and I'll just have them show off a little bit of their comic book collection. I'll show off a little bit of mine. We'll talk comics, how they got into comics, stuff like that. And then from there, because everybody I have on is some kind of content creator. Yeah. So I have them talk about how they got their start, whether it's in, we had a comic book artist, Eric Hodson, on about 3 weeks ago. He talked about how his beginnings and just kind of his career and getting into being a comic book artist. Mm-hmm. I had X-Wing on for our first talking shop. I had the Real Tomby on last week for Talking Shop. Nice. They got to talk their channels and how they got started, and and then whatever time is left after whoever I have on kind of talks just about their thing. Mm. Then we go into like talking entertainment or current news. It's just kind of like what you see with everybody else, but that's usually more at the end, because the bread and butter is talking about comics and talking about the content creator and their starts and their content. So, yeah. But you can check me out over on YouTube. Check me out over on Rumble. You can follow me on X. I don't really stream anything to X. That's more just I use that to kind of use for announcements for videos and streams and stuff. But you can follow me over there too. Same.
That's what I use it for too. And the occasional lambasting of people, but that's usually less and less.
Dara, if you don't mind, I actually do want to do another plug, not for me, but for in the chat, Comics Wife. Oh, she is over on YouTube. She started her own YouTube channel a couple of weeks ago. Nice. Her YouTube name is Queen Comics Wife. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and just go check her out. She's actually going to do a stream later tonight after we're done hanging out here. Mm-hmm. But go check her out. She just wants to go and talk to people and just have some good conversation and just kind of talk about whatever she and the chat kind of have on their minds. But she's just having a lot of fun with it, and she's enjoying herself, and I'm really proud of her for doing it. So anybody that does still watch YouTube that may be over here on Rumble watching, go check out Queen Comics Wife over on YouTube if you get a chance also.
Yeah, that's the best place to start, is when you can start from nowhere and it ends up somewhere. That's how I do. What is this YouTube? It's his wife's YouTube. You'll have to ask Comics Wife what her link is, Nero. I'll be crossing over tonight to Rumble. Well, yeah, good. I YouTube. I understand gaming, Chad, but I don't believe in being on one platform only. And YouTube has proven why you should not be on one platform only.
Yeah, and that's why I slowly over the last month or so started making the transition to being both on YouTube and on Rumble. Like I said, I'm not just with my setup. I do all my stuff off of a laptop, a very basic laptop. Yeah. So once I get a better PC either built or purchased or something, Then I'll start doing more over on Rumble, like the gaming streams. I'll do both on YouTube and Rumble. But for right now, the Rumble is really more for the comics read-alongs and all the pre-recorded videos, and then now I'm doing the live shows. So
Yeah.
but the game streams will come eventually, and then it'll be a 1-to-1 of what you see on YouTube is what you'll get on Rumble.
Yeah. It just I just don't know about it. Yeah, that's one thing I kind of remind people. But we'll get into that later. But anyway, for again, his links are down below. So if you want to see where he's at and all that stuff, they're down there. And if it's worth a follow, why not? Why not? Because he can sell himself. I'm not going to sell him for him because that's just weird. Afterward,
well, hey, you're either going to like what I do or you're not going to like what I do. And if you don't, it is what it is. I didn't get into this for the subscribers or to try to make money or anything like that. I started doing it just as something to do with my free time to have fun. Now, don't get me wrong. The chase is is kind of thrilling. The chase to hitting 250 on YouTube right now is getting exciting, but but I'm not into it for that. I'm into it just to, like I said before, the share my love of comics with people and have fun streaming, playing video games, being able to talk to these other content creators that I've been talking to, and then coming on shows like yours and some other people that have invited me on their shows as well recently. It's just a lot of fun, and that's what I'm in for it for. Yeah. If I can't have fun with it, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, well, exactly, right? Because you hear those stories of burnout, and of course I brought up that link for Comics Wives, so there you go for that. I'll move my tats one day. I will. Some people do, some people don't. But yeah, I mean, again, for my end of things, because my link is down below as well. If you're on the Rumble side or YouTube side, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, sharing the content, leaving a comment or follow, anything that helps with the engagement factor is much appreciated, because not only does it help in being seen more, like all content creators want to be, it also helps in having other people on, like ComixDad, like Tiny Panda Face, obviously, and Joe Cool's been on, but he was on for something else, so there's that too. Also, and Tommy as well. Tommy's been on numerous of times. So
Tommy's good people.
Yeah, and I've had a bunch of creators as much as I've had non-creators, so there's that too. But any help with the engagement factor on either end is much appreciated. Of course, I have a link down below to where my Twitter X and email, and of course my DMing for Discord, but I really don't have a server. There's just too much social media stuff to worry about. So, but I do have that down below. So any help with the engagement factor and the link down below. And of course, as I've said numerous of times, at this point in time, I am running surveys, one for creator, one for viewer. I don't know if you have it or not. Oh, hold on.
I actually did the creator one yesterday.
Okay. This one is for the creator. Don't worry about it, Neuro. I got it. And this one is for the viewer. Again, guys, it ends on the 23rd. And the reason why I'm doing this is because Rumble really doesn't give any data on what a majority of people are. Are you all right? Oh, you must have to close off for a bit. Doesn't really give much data on what the majority of people want or whatever issues and wish list stuff. So that's why I'm running these, because my last one had over 200 responses, and we found that people have issue with streaming capability and of course technical reliability and all that stuff. And so I shared this visual data with everyone to those. I was going to drop my other device. Don't worry about it. I just put it in there, but we probably could do that so I could pin it up, or you could pin it up if you want, because you're a mod. But anyway, these two surveys, whether you see yourself as a creator on Rumble or a viewer on Rumble or both, it doesn't matter. What matters is that doing this not only gives feedback, but it also gives you visual data back on what a numerous amount of people are talking on. Because at the end of the day, the more that people take the survey, the clearer the data, the clearer the data will, stuff will be, and people will get to see all that, because I do share what is at the end of it. So, but anyway, it's there. It'll be going till the 23rd. And if you've already taken it, thank you. If you've not, why not? Why not give a little uh, feedback info and getting to see all that stuff too? So you will get to see it. Right now, I believe we have about 40 plus on both ends. So great job. But I'm hoping to at least get more before the 23rd. So I will keep pushing because no one else is doing it. And of course, I run my Rumble Squared on the 26th as well, but we'll get into that later. But regardless, thank you all for that. Hold on, I gotta get out of that. Thank you all for that. But anyway, I don't know where he's gone. I think he's gone out. But thank you for that, Darrow. I appreciate that. Hopefully, hopefully more will be coming. But it's one of those things where it's just a pain in the neck to keep trying. But it's a challenge I am taking up nonetheless. So we'll see what we get next Wednesday. But anyway, but yeah, what was it?
Sorry about that. Like I was saying at the beginning of the stream, work never sleeps.
Work is nature. It's not that nature calls; it work calls.
Yeah, and it was one of those where unfortunately it was one of those calls because there's sometimes calls where I can like put it off to the side and let it go to voicemail. That
Yeah.
one was like I couldn't let it go to voicemail. I unfortunately had to take that one. So sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine. But yeah. So no, but thank you for that because again, I'm doing this because it helps with oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, I do that because again, Rumble doesn't give visual data on what people have issues or wish list stuff on, and so I did last month's, uh, and of it was like over 200 different responses, and of course the thing was like streaming quality and tech reliability were the two main components out of that whole ordeal that people were having with, and so but again, you get to see a visual representation of that data where you weren't getting that before. And I can only spread it out there enough for people to try and at least give because at the end of the day, every month changes. There's questions that are added or taken away depending on what's happened within the previous month and all that stuff. It is a living survey because it does flow with the previous data that's come. So that's why I do it. But yeah, it is
But it is awesome that you set that up though, and I mean, if I can say thank you for it because I mean even though I haven't really been doing too much with Rumble, but it as anybody that's watching this, whether it's now or later, if you're a Rumble creator especially, go fill out that survey that Dara set up because it's hopefully enough people fill it out that it's actually going to make a difference and actually be able to help with some of the things that you and other creators and myself maybe find as issues with the platform or things that we just maybe want to see a little differently.
yeah.
But it's everybody has got to go fill it out, and so this way, the more people that fill it out, the more eyeballs that'll get on it, and then.
Yeah.
The more traction it can take, and maybe we'll actually see some changes that we want to see.
Yeah, it is all. This is basically a numbers game, but it's numbers game based upon how many people take it from both ends, and also just an understanding that giving your feedback means you will get to see something in that return process. I don't know if you saw March's last month, but people will get to see something return for where they give feedback to Rumble, but Rumble just it's not sure we get tech updates, but sometimes it doesn't make sense why they do this tech update, not this one. And so that's why I do this because there really wasn't anyone. You have a lot of people who will do a roundtable, sure, but who's really going to dig deep on data, actual ground floor data, and that's why I'm doing this. But I do know people get like fatigued on it or whatever, but I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. I've gotta market it in order that people will at least, if they're interested in giving feedback to be heard, this is the best way to do it. Because I know for a fact you can give as much feedback you want to Rumble, but when are they gonna show you something of that total given it within a month?
Yeah.
I can't tell you. All I can tell you is what I'll do. So, but I do thank all who do it. But we're at 40 plus on each, so that's something right there, close to the middle
There
of
you
it.
go.
But
Like,
yeah,
go fill out those surveys, everybody.
I know no better man to say it than the man who reads the comics himself. Oh, that's right. I was gonna show a few because I can only do a few because I am in the opposite direction for some people. So one of the ones now this was a light novel before. Actually, this started out as a light novel, but they did turn it into a anime, and I believe it's either turned into a light novel manga anime or a light novel uh, anime manga. I can't remember which one, but this is the manga version. This is Spice and Wolf, right?
I have heard of it.
Yeah, Spice and Wolf is very medieval ages sort of type of storytelling, but it does like on the economics, the commerce of that kind of setting, and so you
Mhm.
kind of go through it, and of course, deities and whatnot, so to speak. But I really do enjoy it, and I watched the anime. There, another a revision came out, and they did bring back the same people who voiced them, both Japanese and English dub. So
Okay,
congrats for that. But
cool.
but yeah, I enjoy reading the series. I'm not a light novel person. It's just a Reader's Digest with just words. I just don't care. But this one, I take the manga more because I get to look at the pretty pictures, and why not?
I was just gonna say I need to see the pictures. I mean,
I
yes, I can use my brain, but I don't want to use it more than I have
I I
to.
don't read with no pictures, okay? And then another one.
I
Uh,
know read no goods.
I know read no goods. Mama always said life was like a box of chocolates, and then she ate them. Figure that one out.
Oh
She
man!
just said, box of
And then
chocolate
Mama
balls.
went to sleep forever.
Mama had a diabetic seizure because of all them chocolates. But anyway,
My mama said. Now we're going down the path of Waterboy.
Mama, no, it's be like mama say, mama musa, mama say, masa. That's where you're gonna get
My
that.
mama said alligators are angry because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush.
Oh
But
man.
Mama was wrong. No, Colonel Sanders, you're wrong.
I haven't watched much. Yeah, I just remember some people to repeat the lines like Gatorade,
Oh
H2O,
yeah,
Gatorade.
Gatorade,
H-
H2O.
he still acts that way sometimes
Oh
in his
yeah,
stuff.
it's dependent upon the movie. It hits just right, or it falls flat on its face.
Yeah, that is true. But I mean, 51st Dates was all right. I enjoyed 51st Dates.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He's had his moments where he goes outside of just the stereotypical acting like a complete two brain celled organism.
right. Well, and then of course there was Grown Ups. Grown Ups was all right. I enjoyed
Yeah,
that.
Grown Ups was fun. The first one, the second one too. Grown Ups was good. I don't know if it'd be good if they did a third one nowadays, though, considering
Yeah,
everything. But
yeah.
back before Hollywood got even more involved in politics than it already was at the time,
Mhm.
I was able to enjoy those movies.
Well, they leave you on your toes for the future. But anyway, this is
Yeah,
another
yeah.
one.
Back to your book.
Uh, Manga. All right. But this one
Well,
isn't.
I didn't know which book you were going to show. It's still a book. It's a manga, but once it's in a volume, you can
I
call it a
know.
book.
I get it. It's okay. Happy Gilmore. That's right. Happy Gilmore is another one too.
Oh yeah.
Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out. Hey, Bob.
Hey,
Um,
Bob.
yeah, Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out pretty soon too. So there's that. And
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean,
well,
it's
I
gonna
mean,
go right to Netflix because Adam Sandler's been a Netflix boy for the last several years now.
mm,
But I might give it a shot. But in the first 20 minutes, I'll know if I'm gonna turn it off or not.
yeah,
And
it's
and
not.
right now, it's not looking positive.
Well, and Bob Barker's not going to be there. So if they bring in Drew Carey though, I may
That
just
would be
jump on.
funny.
That would be just like, I know what you did to my predecessor. New to your pets. I don't want to talk
Price
about
is
the birds and
wrong,
the beasts.
bitch.
I know that song, Gaming Chad. I know that song. Don't you try to come after me. But anyway, so my next one is done by Rui Tsukiyo. Rui-san. Rui. Oh, it's been a while since I've done Japanese. But this one is called The World's Finest Assassin. Um, Now, of
Ooh.
course, if you recognize the name, he also did something else that got very much well known. It was called Redo of Healer. And I don't need to go any more delve in that if you already know. If you don't know, don't worry about it. If you do know, you're welcome. But this is an isekai story. Old dude assassin dies, comes back again, and his goal now is to kill a hero in another world, and so it kind of goes on that track. But it's sort of it's if you it does kind of OP, but the guy is smart. Um, but yeah, it does have its difference of opinion. And then was another one. I did get the first manga one for Mushoku Tensei, for those who know what it is. But I haven't gotten the other one since, so there's that too. Um, but yeah, there is very few I can show because the other ones are not for the faint of heart. So we won't be showing those. But
Not for eyeballs on stream. I get you.
well, I mean, well, it's just with the objectivity of what manga can do is more than what comics can do because they can do some of the most fun stuff like
hmm
my school or was it my no academia my hero academia, right?
Yes.
That one, or you can do One Piece. Hey, what's on, good sir? How are you doing? um and sort of that stuff, or you're gonna have one called Redo of Healer, which is not for the faint of heart, and that got its well made known, or you're gonna have one like uh let's see what's going on. You're gonna have ones that are sealed in plastic.
hmm
I've seen those ones no, some of them may be new though, so you kind of have to be careful because some of them are new ones, and usually new ones are kept, but the other ones are in plastic as well. So you have to be careful.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're
If you can't see through the plastic, basically, I wouldn't hand it to my kids to open. Basically, the best way to put it.
I don't know what to tell you guys about it. It's manga can go from child friendly, which you have Yotsuba is a child friendly one.
Mhm.
That's more family friendly, or you can go to the one that's called Berserk. Oh,
Oh
Berserker.
yeah.
So if that's a wider range. Western comics, in essence of say like the big ones, haven't really gone to that remark. They can't really do that because they're kind of restricted of what is or what isn't. Um, but come on, gaming Chad, why? Why?
Only because you said that. All right, let's see. Where is it? I gotta find it. Fortunately, I have a box right here. I gotta find it though. Where is it?
I don't even know how many. Oh yeah, I don't need to show that anymore. Yep.
What's a good one I can show you real quick? Because you didn't mention about that. There are, like I was talking about, those more the publishers that are more creator friendly,
Yeah.
and creator owned, and are more like the indie publishers.
Yep.
Uh,
Wahoo!
let's see. Yeah, we'll grab this one. We'll grab number 12. So there is this one, which does kind of push it a little bit.
Something killing the children. Okay.
Yes.
That's an
And
indie one, right?
Yeah, it's published by Boom Studios, written by James Tinian the Fourth.
Mhm.
He does a lot of like kind of thriller and horror type of stuff.
Mhm.
And this title in particular, I mean, it's not necessarily it's comic book art. It's not like it's real. It's not a realism art style. Don't make a mess in my room. It's my room too, damn it.
You can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, mom.
You won't have a thumb.
But no, I mean, it can, depending upon it, like, especially if you are a little bit of the faint of heart, especially when it comes to stories that don't have that don't spare children from bad things happening. The first time I read the first few issues, it took a little bit, but the way that they cover for it or make up for it, it's not like a ultra realistic art style of the book. It's a very comic booky type of, or like a very sketch type of, like a as if someone's sitting there and just doing a quick sketch type of art style.
Oh yeah, like with a pencil or whatever type of pencil.
Yeah, I mean, and it's colored and everything, and they do show some things unfortunately happening to younger characters
Oh.
and whatnot, but it's a cool read though. Basically, there's these creatures that only children and people that are uh, uh part of like this kind of like secret organization that are able to see,
Mhm.
and people part of the secret organization go around and hunt and kill these monsters that feed off of children. But it is just kind of an idea of the art style. I
Oh,
chose a
it's
I
like,
chose a page that didn't really have anything over the
yeah,
top. So
yeah. Well, yeah. No, that's a funny one. But no, that's
but
pretty
yeah, but that
awesome.
was just I brought that up just because you mentioned that like the East kind of can get away with a little more
Risque.
like risque graphic,
Mm.
a little more hardcore type of stuff. It's over here in Western comics as well, but yeah, comics wife, she did get me the first print of #1 of that issue of that series. It is
First
actually
print.
one of the more popular one of the more popular indie published series that's not Marvel DC. So
Well, you see how she does it though. She puts the exclamation points at the end. She's like, "I got you the first print." She's like really saying it out there for you. She's like, "Don't you forget, I got you the
oh,
first
I
print."
know. She always reminds me.
Every time you get serious, like, so you remember we got you the first print, right? Gosh, dang it, woman, leave me alone on this.
Yeah, she's good to me. What can I say? But
You
but I didn't mean to move away, but
no,
just
you're
because
fine.
we are, I mean, part of this conversation like has been kind of the comparison of manga and Eastern comics to Western comics. So
Mhm.
just
But
since you happen to mention that, it kind of just the exception to the rule is sitting here in a box next to me. So I just wanted to bring it up.
hey, calm it down in chat. Look, you may be his wife, but he's my guest. You just calm it down over there, okay? Goodness sake, it's like she beats you up over there.
I cannot confirm or deny the veracity of that statement.
Thank you, Nero. But no, I'll show you a sort of risky one, but it's not that risky. But this one that has had an anime out for a while, but it's High School DxD. That's
Oh
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. In terms of gore, Western comics are starting to get a little more.
Ugh, I can't do
Especially
them.
like the indie published ones are getting a little more into that, especially if it's a horror book or something. But
Mm.
yeah, when it comes to that stuff, like with the ladies and the girls on the covers and the content inside, yeah, the East has that lockdown.
Hey, now people know I have High School DxD. So what? All right, there's so much other stuff out there. I've watched.
I'm not gonna judge you. What
Oh,
the hell happened?
his camera went out. Everyone, he's dark. Hide, hide.
Oh.
He can't see us now. We're all in the
What the
dark.
hell happened?
I can still hear you. You're fine.
No, I know. Rumble Studios being weird now.
Dude, I
Because
do not think
it changed my camera on me, and then now I changed it back to the right camera.
Yeah. Yep.
But now this is a similar problem to what I had on my own stream with Tombi last week,
Yeah.
where like it just randomly stopped working. There, hold on. I'll be right back. I'm gonna refresh the page.
I can't believe this. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I can't believe we're getting a true story out here right now, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
And now it changed the. There we go. Now we're back to the microphone. Okay,
There you
we're
go.
good.
I get told you're getting locked in the closet once in a while.
Yeah, that's not the first time that's happened to me in the last week on Rumble. So
And well, yeah, I had it happen to me yesterday, but and sometimes give look at that. She's at least thinking somewhat about you to some degree.
yeah,
Sort
there's
of.
she feeds me well. She makes sure I won't go anywhere.
Get back in that closet again.
No, it's just it's she makes sure that I'm well fed, so this way I either will run out of breath or I'll starve before I get too far away from her.
Oh my goodness. I've gotta stop this right now, otherwise I'm gonna start the legal issues right here. But he said it's like I was not there. Don't know what they're talking about. But no, there's been some nice ones I've read. There was a anime called I'm gonna have to look it up. What was it? Isu Zaku Nobu, something like that. There we are. Ha ha ha. I found it. Okay. This one is called Isekaya Nobu. It's about a
Gesundheit.
yeah, well, almost. But they did do an anime on this. And but I didn't know it's a light novel, but I didn't know they did a light novel. But basically the anime, what it does is that it does like it does like a period of time of animation about what the food is that they're cooking within it. And then after the fact, they actually have someone who's well known go to an actual Japanese restaurant and sit down and have something that was from that episode. So you
Okay.
have one that's like about udon, like potato udon, and they actually go out to a restaurant. Or actually, there's like a few times where they mix it up with a guy cooking the food. So you have one going out to eat the food at a restaurant, and then you have so it's more mixed up.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I remember watching it at the place I used to watch that. But I mean, there you would get hungry just watching it. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. There's the one
Well,
about karage and all that stuff. Oof.
well, Mrs. Comics and we really enjoyed. I haven't read the manga. I want to read the manga, but I haven't read it yet. But we stumbled across Delicious in Dungeon over on Netflix,
Mhm.
and we watched that, and we both like fantasy settings, and we've played D&D before.
Mhm.
I've on and off played D&D for 15 years. I got Mrs. Comics into it when we first met.
Mhm.
And so basically, like, are you familiar with Delicious in Dungeon?
I I I think they called it something else, like making.
Yeah,
Um,
this is the like normieized, westernized
let me see.
title for it.
uh, Ocean Dungeon. Hold on. I'm reading the Wikipedia. Delicious in Dungeon. Here, I'll just show it to you anyway because I already got it.
Yeah. But it's for anybody that likes like fantasy stuff or Dungeons and Dragons, stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then anybody that likes food or cooking type of stuff as well. It's a fun watch. I have to pick up the manga and read it just to because there's always they can't fit everything from a manga into an anime. Well, unless if you're
One
Oda.
Piece.
That yeah,
Yeah.
unless if you're Oda, and then you have to put everything into every single episode.
Yeah. Comic as soon as it's Lion King. Well, that was before predating Kimba, and it was done. It was done by. It wasn't animated by, but it was done under Tezuka Osamu, which if you people don't know, he's the original creator of Astro Boy.
And gaming chat, I'm not surprised that it's the same exact story as The Lion King because Disney. I wouldn't even be surprised if even back in the 80s and 90s Disney was stealing IPs.
Well,
So.
and it's been said that it's the story just based off of Hamlet anyway. So
Well, yeah, but definitely the fact that it's what is it? Lions. Like, but
Yeah.
30 years apart.
Yeah.
There's something there.
Yeah, there is. Now there's another food one I know, but this is not for the this is sort of not for the faint of heart. There we go.
I've heard of Food Wars. Another one I haven't either read or watched.
This is they do have some they do like this. So you see this thing right here. This is called a gotcha pork roast or gotcha pork or fake because it's they say, but the sounds like a food no.
Yeah, I read that.
No, actually, you know what? That wouldn't be it, but Food Wars would. Because there are some scenes where they there's there's one scene where the dad and son, so this is Soma Yukihara, and that's his dad right there, if you could see like that hair. So they have a contest to see who can make the best meal. And so they do this. This is like the first episode of the anime. They do this first contest, and of course, later on, Soma loses. And I wish I owned some of the manga, but I haven't been able to get any of that yet. But funny enough, if you buy the manga, they do have recipes in there, so you can get the manga with some recipes. But
Okay,
yeah,
that's cool.
as far as heard. But the funny thing is that he loses, and you know the girl who's the girl right there who is partaker of that contest. Soma is like, whatever, and then he asks her, would she like to try something that he made, and he makes this like he makes this peanut butter dipped octopus piece. And there's a scene.
I think I think I know where this is going, but I don't want to know where this is going.
Let's just say if you know what the fisherman's wife is, it turns into something like that. But anyway, yeah. Yes, it doesn't go too far, but it goes far enough. But there are scenes like that throughout the whole series.
Oh,
Uh,
jeez.
your mouth may water. Yes, it does. Well, and the funny thing is that the so here's the funny thing, right? They did have an actual chef. Uh, what's the word? Not contract. It's what's the person you have kind of guiding you through? Starts with C. Um, Consult. That's right, consult. So
Okay.
they had an actual chef consult them on these recipes. So they had a female chef, and and so the last season of Food Wars was kind of because the lady who was their consultant chef had a baby and so wasn't there. But the funny part is that the illustrations that are done in the manga, the gentleman used to do R18 drawings. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
why, yeah. And when I learned that too, I was like, "You scared? You kidding me?" It's like then that makes sense for some of the very naughty scenes. But anyway, but I mean, it's not all like that. It's just there are some scenes, but at the end of the day, it is about food. The reason why I love this one is because there's actually another YouTuber called Chef PK who actually got inspired by not only watching this but making some recipes from this. But
Oh,
the other,
really?
yeah, you can look him up like Chef PK. That's the full thing, all one word. Um, and I had to take down some of his old ones because he was watching the anime and YouTube don't like and all that stuff. So, but the other part of it too is that the show is about food wars, fighting with food. It's not like Food On, right, where you actually fought with food. This is it's like if you've ever seen the old Iron Chef,
I was
right?
just gonna ask. You mean more like
Iron
more
Chef.
like Iron Chef? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and they have, and funny enough, they have those episodes up on YouTube right now. The company, whoever holds the rights, has actually put those full episodes up on YouTube. So if you ever want to see some old dubbed Food Wars, Iron Chef, they're there. But it's sort of based on that premise of the Iron Chef stuff. But I mean, you there's food battles all over the place, and and the funniest thing is, if the food's really that good, if the food's really that good, it will blow your clothes off. Like they have one scene where the headmaster say no more, I'll bring my own chair. Oh well, if you're gonna be like that.
That reminds me of that of that game franchise. What's it called? Senran Kagura, where you deal damage by destroying their clothes.
Yeah. Food Wars. I'm trying to find it.
Back when I was a late teen, early 20 something that didn't what is it? Didn't strive for anything in life at that point, and was
So
just I was a former basement dweller who didn't live in a basement.
I
In
I
my
was
younger years.
well. I had other siblings, and so that was the only place I could have a bedroom. So there's that. But this isn't there isn't anything to it, but it's implied. But it's sort of kind of going to show um, what I mean by the clothes would blow off. So let me just 1 second. Here we go. So this right here to the right, that would be one of the scenes you would see when the food is so good that their clothes would blow off. Basically,
Gotcha.
yeah, yeah. But this is the anime right here and all that stuff, and trying to be not too careful. Like this is Megumin, Megumi. She's a very her cooking specialty is hospitality cooking. Then you have Meat, who's the nickname of her specialty is meat. Uh, I don't need
Is
to know
that a
what
meat dress, that themed dress that she's wearing?
it's a bikini.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's got a flame on it. This is Erin Nakira. She is known as the God Tongue, so that means she can taste down to the detail of the food. That's why she's called the God Tongue.
Hmm.
So there is that. Um, but yeah, and then you have some other episodes where they do like Chinese cooking and so forth and so on. It really is a great series, but you will be dealing with pieces like that where if the food's so good, their clothes will blow off
Fair enough.
to some degree. And I think this is IMDb. Hold on. Well, if you're just gonna show it, just go. Well, okay. So yeah, you'll get stuff like that. But anyway. So, but I enjoy Food Wars because of the not only that it's battling with your cooking ability, but um but it also is like there will, as I've heard, there are some recipes in the manga themselves, and so that you could make those recipes too. There was a book, they made a cooking book a long time ago, but I don't think it is to sell anymore. So unfortunately, it is what it is. But it's just it's one of those shows where I mean, you can watch something like Izakaya, Nobu, which is just family wholesome, all this stuff, or you can watch something like that and ask yourself a really deep question of why you're watching it. But that's another story for another time. But I enjoyed the series, although the last season was kind of because it gets very wacky a bit. But I mean, when you have a character called the God Tongue, and their basic superpower is that they can taste each and every individual flavor that's in the food. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
The hell?
What?
Tiny Panda Face's comment. I am so very baffled by that comment.
Mondogo and ComixDad will have to fight me for you.
No, that one. I'm like, what?
One nice goodness sake. What is going on here? My gosh, you ladies are cooking it up. I only comics is that my third marriage, I was married to two a-holes before. Aw.
I'm just not as big of an a-hole.
Yeah.
That's all. It's not that I'm not one. It's just that I'm not the biggest.
There you go. See,
A-hole, biggest
a-hole. That's right. Well, when you're the biggest a-hole, you just walk right past people and just make them whatever. I will make you a deal, Tiny. I will make the food for you, and you could fight him for it. Look, I don't know what's going on here, but I don't want any fighting. For food. All right, we're not poor. We're not like Venezuela. All right, we have enough. Okay, it's okay. You mean it takes all my money to get the loaf of bread? Yes, it does. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I've been all over the place of that, and I haven't read any new manga. I tried to buy like the High School DxD was my last one because I'd watched anime first, and there's some other ones too. But at the end of the day, there is such a vast field of genre types and story types and all sorts of things. It feels like it's like just print out after print out after print out
Oh
after
yeah.
print out, and all
There's
stuff.
so much manga there because every once in a while I'll go to the bookstore a couple towns over, and I'll go and like, oh, let me see if there's a new manga that I either haven't heard of or that I maybe just looks interesting on the shelf or whatever.
Yeah.
And based on all the titles and based on all the different kinds of covers, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna get into.
Or the title alone, yeah.
Yeah, between the titles, and then I look at the titles, and then I look at the covers, and sometimes the covers don't match up with the title, but then the covers are kind of make me like, well, am I going to judge myself for reading this? Or
They say don't judge a book by its cover, but sometimes you have to make a call.
Yeah. Just because there is that vast range of storytelling types in manga, and also things that are allowed that creators in the manga scene are allowed to get away with, as
Well,
opposed to over here. So I'm
yeah,
like, sometimes I gotta judge this cover before I
still have
open
leftovers.
it.
Well, and that's funny thing too. And I'd mentioned Tezuka Osamu. He was a former um, during the Second World War. He was former doctor, and he would use some of that experience to press F for doubt. Well, you can doubt her on the leftovers, but don't make her. I love making. I actually love the caramel apple empanadas they had for Taco Bell, but they took those away. It's a sad
She'll
day.
make some.
The nacho chichalup was a good thing at Taco Bell. Then they took it away, unfortunately. But yeah, there is there's funny enough. Tezuka Osamu. They actually have a full site of his works, and since we can go there anyway, yes, in English, port before. This is his. Both her legs. Yeah, well, Tiny is small. I've seen her, and that's why she's called Tiny for a reason. There's a reason you gotta be careful. But anyway, this is the main site for Tezuka Osamu san's work. You can see all sorts of stuff, like again, Astro Boy, and he did a whole bunch of characters. But there are things in some of his works where it goes hard. It
Hmm.
goes real hard. There's let's see, that's Captain Black. Um, Mighty Atom or Astro Boy. This is Princess Knight, which is so Princess Knight. As far as I understood it, it's the well, we'll go into it if it works because it will explain better what it is. Description. But yeah, this is his, and this is like 60s, 70s, because he unfortunately passed away of a form of cancer back in the 80s,
Hmm.
late 80s, and so this one is Princess Knight from 1953 to 1956. This is a fantasy of a princess by the name of Sapphire who has both a boy's heart and a girl's heart. She cleans up evils by disguising herself as Princess Knight. Sapphire is born with both boys and girls' mind due to a mischievous angel by the name of Tink, which is the angel right here. In addition, Sapphire bears the destiny to be raised as a prince to inherit the throne. On the other hand, Duke Durlamin, who wants to make his son the king, ploys to find evidence that Sapphire is a girl in various ways. So you do have these types of stories that he's done, but again, we talk about that freedom, like princesses too. What I have a fantasy? Yeah, I know what that fancy is. So keep it to yourself. Um, but stuff like you have you you have a Adolf Hitler one. You have a bunch of different ones. You have where's the Captain Jack? Um, there's one. There's again Adam. Come on, load for me.
It said no.
Mm.
It said
Um,
nay, sir. You're
oh,
showing
let's
too much.
Blackjack. This is or Blackjack, and this is sort of a doctor who doesn't have a license but operates, and it's a medical drama about a genius but unlicensed surgeon by the name of Black Jack. Black Jack is a genius surgeon who miraculously saves patients' lives no matter how seriously ill they are. He is also known that he charges huge fees as the compensations. On the other hand, the medical society refuses to admit him as a doctor. They even deny his existence. Black Jack practices quietly at his small clinic located in the deserted land together with his sister Pinocchio, who he voluntarily saved before. Yet patients diagnosed helpless by other doctors visit him with the slightest hope. So it's like House. It'd be like
Gotcha.
this form's House, and it's just mentioned it twice. I typed it twice. Well, yeah. Well, yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't. The things he draw. He doesn't shy away from certain things. There's one point where there's basically you want to talk about kids killing each other. There's basically at one point where there is kids killing each other.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I can't remember. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Ranking chronology. Oh, that's right. It's just doing the chronology of all that stuff. So this is chronology of his works and all that. But I won't get too deep in that. But yeah, Osamu Tezuka was not. This was during a period of time where again the war was going on and all this other stuff. And of course, these are his original drawings right there too. I mean, he can go in depth. I was trying to find if there was one of the Walt Disney story. Oh goodness, I didn't know about that one.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But yeah, he just does a whole bunch of stuff. And there's an actual museum in Japan that
Oh, that's
showcases
cool.
all that stuff. So, but yeah, so you want to talk about can go pretty far. Osamu Tezuka was not afraid to go too far, especially during his showing kids philosophy and sort of stuff like that of like the war and all that stuff. Because people have to understand that during the war, Second World War, there were some Japanese who were not fans of the war either, and it's not called that. It's called Ero manga. Technically, that's the wrong word they use for that. So, Gaming Chad, I know what you saw. I know what you said, but it's usually the wrong word. That's not what they call it. Brooke and Sanji. I can write to Sanji. I love to. Yeah, Sanji.
Mrs. Comics is trying to, I guess, convince Tiny Panda. Tiny Panda said she hates One Piece, so I think Comics Wife is trying to convince her.
Tuesday. Hey, you know what? There's you want to talk about how far it can go. Like I could open this page and you'd find something pretty close.
Well, you want to talk about pushing boundaries? Did you ever see High School of the Dead?
I've heard of it, but I've not. I think it was mostly about killing zombies, is what I've heard of it.
Yeah, a bunch of high schoolers, zombie apocalypse in Japan, trying to survive and all that stuff, but very, very, very much fan service.
Yeah.
But there is one clip where what is it? The booby physics are wild. There's one kid fires a sniper rifle and the bullet,
I've seen that, yeah.
and then the individual breasts like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or like some Matrix type of stuff.
That's a denial on its own right there, Gaming Chad. Don't you even try. Don't you even try with that sort of stuff.
Oh,
That's
God.
a lie. Nope, I don't have the patience to get to the good part like everyone tells you.
Well,
Look,
I will say, Tiny Panda Face, that is why both the One Piece live action from Netflix is a great thing, because you can get through Arlong Park in 8 or 10 episodes, as opposed to I think 40. But then also what they've been doing is over the last several years, they've gone back and they've taken some story arcs from like the early years.
Yeah.
But they've condensed them down into like hour and a half long movies almost. So I don't know, Dara, how familiar you are with One Piece.
Well, I do know that they sort of did like what they were doing with Dragon Ball, right? Dragon Ball Z Kai. They were kind of making sure it matched up to the manga and all that stuff.
Well, that's what they're currently working on. That's what they have that's what they have the crew behind the Attack on Titan anime. That's what they're working on. Nice. But before that, though, what they've done is that they have like the original team with Toei Animation. They've taken like the Skypiea arc, which was like 40 some odd episodes, I think 30 to 40 some odd episodes, and they kind of cut out a lot of the filler and condensed it down to like an hour and a half long almost movie. And then they did the same thing with Alabasta. And I think they did the same thing with Fishman Island recently. No, I'm sorry, they went back and condensed Fishman Island down to like 10 or 12 episodes, as opposed to, or down to like maybe 20, as opposed to the 40 some odd episodes it was. So Tiny Panda, there is definitely things out there that you don't have to slog through the whole 1100 plus episodes of One Piece. At least for the early stuff, you don't have to slog through it all. You can get through. There's enough out there now that and it's been long enough that you can go and watch and get to the good parts of each individual story arcs without having to spend dozens and dozens and dozens of hours in each story arc. So
Yeah.
just keep that in mind, Tiny Panda. If you want, I can put together some stuff. I can put together some links and send it over to you. But this way you can actually enjoy One Piece for what it is, because all that stuff hits on the big stuff. But I'm the type of person where I enjoy a good filler episode. Like I'm an OG Dragon Ball Z kid. So like the filler is like DBZ Kai is fun and all well and good and everything, but the OG is just it hits different, man. Filler and all, 3 episodes in a row of nothing but powering up, like that's a chef's kiss.
He should also, he loves One Piece and he still has a possibility. Well, him and Stuff Central and come on, I've had him on. I can't believe I'm blanking on the name. There's someone else I've had on before that skills something Rush. But him and another dude are very Dragon Ball Z fans. And so Squall Rush, that's right, Squall Rush. I've had on Squall Rush. He's a very big Dragon Ball fan. He has a podcast on Dragon Ball. I can't get into
cool.
Dragon Ball. Well, I don't think a lot of people can. I've only watched like the movies and stuff. I've never.
My daughters can, and I am so proud of them. They sat and watched the original Dragon Ball anime with me from start to finish, and then my younger one, my 5-year-old, has been watching Dragon Ball Z with me. We are about 2/3 of the way through the Namek saga, and I am so proud of both of them for taking an interest in Dragon Ball and in Dragon Ball Z. So people can get behind it. Comics Life is just being ignorant. If our daughters can get behind it, she can get behind it.
She's like, I don't want to learn about Kamehameha. Look, you have to understand, it's very important to the story. The Kamehameha is like super important. Kamehameha, this in your face. Oh, come on, don't be like that.
Well,
that
and then just the sheer power, just the sheer jump in the scale of power from the end of Dragon Ball to the beginning of Dragon Ball Z is just wild.
Yeah,
it just goes like Dragon Ball was a lot more grounded, but Dragon Ball Z just out there. But it was just so over the top and wild. And just oh my god, I loved it.
Look, comics. So I have to call the 7 Dragon Balls. All right. 7 Dragon Balls.
7 balls thing, yeah.
And they released Shenron, the wishing granting dragon. So remember that name, Shenron.
Yeah, except when they went to Namek and it was Porunga.
Yes, but that got them original dragon back, along with Dende, who became their new guardian of Earth, and that's a whole nother story. It's stupid. You know what? There's a lot of fast food manga out there, and it's okay. It just depends on what you want to read. I'd rather eat
nails. No.
Well,
no.
unless you used to read Pippi Longstocking back in the day, then yes. Because Pippi Longstocking would eat nails and all that stuff, but that's a story for another time. Just don't bring your what was that? Just don't bring your Dragon Balls to dinner because you will summon the dragon. That's just called Dad's Not Happy Time.
I mean, at that point, I just wish for more dinner.
Look, I wish for immortality and more dinner. I wasn't crazy about it. Yeah, well, the South Americans, man.
Nobody's perfect, Tiny Panda. I'll just say that.
Yeah. South America is super crazy for Dragon Ball. My gosh.
The South America, and then also, which surprisingly enough, there's a lot of people. A lot of black people are into Dragon Ball. Which, I mean, it has nothing to do with... I mean, I guess it's a little bit based on... not necessarily stereotypes, but it's just one of those things that, as a kid, especially where I grew up, it was a predominantly, like, white community and white town and white area part of New Jersey. Yeah. So, like, there weren't a lot of black people around, so I didn't really know a lot of black kids going to school. There was, like, 2. In at most in any grade of school I was in. There were like maybe 10 in my total graduating class. But no, it's true. I never realized until like I was out of high school and into the world outside of the town I grew up in that like so many people around. I knew Dragon Ball was a beloved franchise around the world, but just for whatever reason, like I just did not. For whatever reason, I never imagined like it being so big amongst the black community. And I have no idea why. And I love that it is, because that's just one more thing that I can throw in the face of people that are, oh, racist, black and white needs to be separate, blah, 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 blah. No, it's not. We all love Dragon Ball, motherfuckers.
No, you say this is the way of the people. We understand.
This is the way of the people.
Kamehameha, mother trucker.
Yeah, damn straight.
Word.
Especially if I see a brother walking around with a Vegeta shirt on, I'm like, dude, let's go. And then I'll stop and talk with him about Dragon Ball all day if my wife lets me.
She has a wife. I'm surprised too. Well, again, she does talk to Panda Sub 2000, so that would be a white homie. But that was pretty funny.
This may not be a good look for me. I'm just saying. I'm being raw, and it has nothing to do with, like I said, it's not from a point of prejudice or anything. It's just from a point of, like, I was in my own little world and echo chamber of white suburban New Jersey. And just, I didn't know any better. But I think it's awesome, because Dragon Ball is not a cultural phenomenon. It's a global phenomenon. And so is One Piece. So anime in general, anime and manga is a global phenomenon that transcends culture.
And you're forgetting the other one too. What's number 3?
Dragon Ball, One Piece. I don't want to say it. No, Naruto. I don't want to say it. No.
And Naruto. Naruto's number 3.
No, fuck that.
Naruto is number 3. It is. It is number 3.
I'm gonna start dropping hard F-bombs. Fuck Naruto. Hey, fucking stupid.
You can say whatever you want, but it's still number 3. That's what's considered number 3.
There was this one kid that I grew up with that in high school, he dressed up as Naruto every damn day and did the ninja run down the hallway to go from class to class. That kid, I mean, I felt so bad for that kid, how much he got picked on, but at the same time, I was like, dude, come on. How do you not see this coming to you every single day?
Hey, he said, bring it on. I'll fight you with the karate.
And honestly, because he wasn't the only kid he wasn't the only kid like in high school and in college that did that kind of stuff when it came to Naruto. But it just, I don't know, like the uber weeboo fans kind of killed it for me before I even got into it.
It's a sad day when they do that, but at the end, we all know, deep down in the inside, we got our likes. It's okay. But anyway, it is the 2-hour mark, and I think
for sure,
winding it down from there.
Let's do it.
But of course, before we do that, we got a few things to do. We have what to call the house cleaner upper. We just clean up on our way out, sort of. But anyway, before we go, we'll do our self promotion, and then we'll do a few other things, and then
more self promotion. Let's go.
Well, I do that at the top of the hour because it's just like a timer. Some content creators do like the beginning, some do it at the end. I do it at every hour because it's just a time reminder. It's like, oh, we did an hour, so let's just stop for a bit. Stop. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Gamey. I appreciate that. After you said all those things, you know what? I forgive you of that.
There we go. It's all this guy. Those 5 stars are him.
Well, it's 5. I almost mistook it for 6, but you know, it is what it is.
7 stars.
7 stars. 7 stars for them. 7 stars for them. 7 balls. But anyway,
it's straight.
But anyway, why don't you go ahead first, and then we'll go from there.
But yeah, like I said at the top of the last hour, you can find me over on Rumble. ComixDad is the name of the channel. It took me forever to kind of figure out the difference between my profile versus my channel, because it's weird thing with Rumble, but the actual channel on Rumble is ComixDad. It's also ComixDad over on YouTube, ComixDad on X, excuse me. And then I actually started just last night. I did my very first movie review over on Criticless. So I think and it was pretty fun writing that. It was for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But I might actually start doing some more of those too. So if anybody wants to check out movie reviews, you can go follow me over on Criticless over time. But yeah, it just this Thursday we have our next episode of Comics Couple Cafe, which is the live show, which is the alternating live show where myself and my wife, Comics Wife over here on Rumble, Queen Comics Wife over on YouTube, we just sit, we talk with the chat, we just kind of bullshit for an hour and a half, whatever, about all sorts of good stuff. And then next week I have my other live show on Thursdays, talking shop. We are going to have our next guest is going to be gaming streamer Steel Leg of History. If
Oh,
anybody is
nice.
familiar with Steel Leg of History, Robert, he's a good dude.
Yeah,
I'm excited to have him on. And then just keep an eye out for more comics read-alongs. I've kind of slid back on that the last couple of weeks. I got to get back into it, but that's all I got. Gaming Chad disclaimer: if I start calling you dad or daddy now, that's on you.
You have issues, my good man. You have big issues.
You can call me whatever you want, man. Don't mean I'm necessarily going to respond because that's just weird.
Whoa, calm it down over there, young lady. Calm it down. Oh my goodness. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, again, this is basic what it is. A lot of been people who are hesitant to come on because like, okay, so what are your topics? What you talk about is like there are no topics because most people are used to that anyway. But I'm just like, look, it's just free flowing conversation wherever the right. It's like going on that river raft ride, not at a amusement park one, more of like you're going at the river, right? You go with the 6-pack and the cooler that's floating right next to you with your family and stuff, and you just go down the river. Minus all the leeches that could possibly happen, but that's a different story.
Yeah, like that Dak Shepard, Seth Green, and dude from Scooby Doo live action movie Without a Paddle.
Without a Paddle, that's right. His name is Matthew Lillard, and
I always forget his name.
And he's gonna be in the next FNAF movie at the end of the year, so watch it, kids. But yeah. So I just do it because there's just it feels like there's not a whole lot of conversation beyond the scope of just topic related things, and but that's just my opinion and stuff. And thank you, Neuro, for that. I sorry I called dibs. Oh, okay. Hands off. I'm hands off on this situation. I can't help you after this point. Gaming Chat has decided. He'll be like the Game of Thrones. I have come for you, Father Comics. I have come for you. Oh goodness. But anyway, from my end of things, whether you're on Rumble or YouTube, either or, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, sharing the content, leaving a comment or follow, anything that helps the engagement factor is much appreciated because not only does it help in being seen more, like all content creators want to, ComixDad over there, if he could do an hour show and have be watched by 1,000 people, he would do it. But
I don't know, man. That's a lot of pressure you're putting on me now.
I don't have 1,000 people, so there's that. But anyway, any help with the engagement factor, it also helps in having other people on, like ComixDad, like At the Real Tomby, like Steel Leg, who I've had on before, and like and Tanny Panda Face, but she likes to slap me in the face once in a while. Okay, it just happens. It's just she can be ruthless as she can be energetic. Okay, I said it. All right. But anyway, any help with the engagement factor on either end, Rumble or YouTube, is much appreciated. Of course, I do have a link below. You can find my Twitter X there. You can find my email there. I have a Discord thing, but it's mostly just for DMing. I don't run a server. It's just not one of those things. But any help with that? Who am I slapping? You slap. You know what? I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say anymore. It's already you too late. You weren't listening. You weren't paying attention. I'm not going back. But any help with the engagement factor and link down below. And of course, last thing, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing a monthly survey thing. I did this last month. Well, I've been doing it for a bit, but I've been using Microsoft Forms, which has kind of helped with getting that sort of thing. I've been doing the survey thing. I know people have had issues or wish list stuff on Rumble or about Rumble, and I know people have been frustrated or whatever. This is sort of an outlet to try to get that out there, and you guys will get a visual on that remark of that data. Hold on, let me try to find it. I think it will give me 1 second. Well, it's pinned, I guess. There we go. Oh, I'm in the wrong side. I gotta be in the I was in the oh goodness, where did I put it? No, I was on the wrong side of things. I have to go through so much. Oh, I hate this. Come on. There it is. Okay. So I not a professional here.
Hey, there you go.
But anyway, so what's it about? Whether you see yourself, oh, there you go. Neuro did it. Thank you. Neuro. Neuro is on top of it. Whether you see yourself as a creator on Rumble, whether you see yourself as a viewer on Rumble, or whether you see yourself as both, because they're both different perspectives. Every bit of data helps. And the reason why I'm doing this is so that way people can find these, instead of people relying on just a few people that agree with them and say, "Oh, this is should be the majority thing that Rumble should focus on," or "This is the majority issue that's on Rumble." I'm here to gather all those voices and kind of use that data to show that maybe the thing you're talking about is not the most important thing that other people are talking about. It's kind of cutting through the fog of this sort of thing, this back and forth, social media and all this stuff. So uh, again, if you view yourself as just a creator or a viewer on Rumble, either or works. Oops.
He gone.
I'm back. What?
Take over. Oh, okay. Never mind.
You view yourself as either or you view yourself as both. Again, if you're a creator and a viewer on Rumble, that's fine too. They're both different perspectives. Again, every piece of data counts. The more people
Mhm.
take it, the harder it is to ignore. Again, guys, I got over 200 responses total. I'm hoping to get more, but I can only do so much. Every bit helps. Share it. If you've taken it, share it. Every bit. And that's all I'll say in it to not get too
Numbers and data cannot lie unless it's manipulated to do so. But just raw data cannot lie.
well,
So
and I
go
don't.
fill out those forms.
Yeah, I give out and you guys can see I do link to the summaries in the last one that show the all the visual data, because you don't get that, right? You don't get visual data to show, because sometimes people like the visual more than just hearing it. So you do get visual data that shows that, like, there, I know at one point people were talking about, like, oh, maybe channel points should be a thing, channel points, it should be the most important thing. Well, come to find out on my survey, not really. The most important thing was like filtering, sorting your stuff by, how YouTube has it, like oldest, newest, and all this stuff. That was the biggest thing on the last one, that's what people wanted. And so on and so forth. So stuff like that will help in the future. But it really is dependent on you guys. I can only do so much. So if you've taken it, thank you. I appreciate you. Share it if you haven't taken it. If you don't aren't in Rumble, that's fine. Don't worry about it. But every bit counts. Every bit counts. And that's why I'm pushing so hard, because I want to try to reach more and more people along the way. And
That's great.
and of course tomorrow at that's right. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, I will have on the anime guy. Of course, I had on who was it? There was another gentleman I had on who was kind of a relation to. When you get a lot of people on, it starts flowing. I've had on over 190 people so
Holy
far.
shit! Good for
Yeah.
you, man.
Yeah, I'm close to 200, but I've got to start counting, because 200 is the special one. I'm not gonna do anything too big special, but it's gonna be the special one. Like, because if you're I know who the first person was. I know who my 100th person was. Now we're gonna see who's number 200. You're not it though. You're not it.
Nah,
You're sad.
yeah. Nah,
You're
I know I'm nothing special.
well. We'll get
I'm
you
a
there.
one and done. I'm a one and done kind of person. I get it.
Is that true, Mrs. Comics? Is that true?
No, not me doing one and done. The other way around. What is it? I show up once, or people meet me one time and then forget me. Yeah, it's all good.
I try to, I tell people, once they come on, they're always welcome back. But once your pool starts getting big, you start
Oh
running.
yeah.
And believe you me, the most challenging part about this is the scheduling. Yeah, you can't dig yourself out of this hole. Well, that's what she said. But anyway, or that's what he said. Sorry, that was the wrong terminology for it. But I mean, the important part of why I do this is that it's reaching across to different people across different varieties of talents and whatnot. This isn't just a show off the creator thing. I don't do that.
Mhm.
Right? You already have enough content creators doing that. It's one of the best episodes I have. I will, yes, I will, but it'll be later on. Just like you'll be on a later one too. I'm watching you. But the thing of it is, like, I didn't really. I followed these content creators. I followed FNT. I followed, Geese Gamers and all stuff. But they really just kept within their circle, and they talk about the entertainment industry and stuff. And that's fine. You pick your thing and do it. Don't
Yeah.
listen to me for content creator advice. But there was something missing, at least from my perspective. It's like they have so many followers, and they usually just only a big block. Well, yeah, but you're coming at the end, so it's like it's too late. it's too late, Big Black. You're coming at the end, man.
Just go watch the restream, man. It's all
Yeah,
good.
just go watch it.
Yeah,
But
help him with that engagement and those watch hours and all that stuff.
that man knows what he's talking about. But the thing was, is like I was watching these content creators have thousands upon thousands of people, and sure they do meetup, but it's like, when do they ever invite someone that's a follower on their show?
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's usually, and I get that. It's usually somebody that kind of has to earn their way through the ranks a little bit, so to speak.
And for what I do, that doesn't make sense any sense to me, because you're just as a human being as I am. Earning through the ranks, that seems so silly.
Yeah.
I've had to sort of earn my way, but it's so silly that you have this huge pool to draw from. If you only took 1/4 of that, right?
Yeah.
Like 5,000 or 10,000, whatever. Do you not understand the amount of conversations you can have that can we're in this time where it's nothing but the politics stuff or the entertainment or whatever, and I don't give a rat's behind about this stuff, because if you aren't looking at the technology that's coming up, those old things will slowly slip away into something else.
Mm-hmm.
You won't recognize Hollywood as it is anymore. You probably won't even recognize politics as it is anymore, because technology will take over to some degree.
Well, and that's why with the show that I do with the wife, and then the other show that I do with my guests, that's why I don't really talk about that stuff unless if there's like room near the end, or if there's not really a whole lot else going on.
Yeah.
But specifically with my show Talking Shop, that's why I don't really do that stuff until near the end of the show. That's why the meat and potatoes of the show is talking comics, talking the actual guests they have on, their journey, their channel, their how they got started, all that stuff, because those are the stories that I'm interested in. Those are the stories that I feel need to be told. Because like you said, enough people are out there talking about the entertainment news and all that stuff. And I mean, and like I said, I'll talk a little bit about it too, but not ad nauseum, not to the extent that these bigger channels do. Because it's just not really, I keep up to date with it, but it's not a passion of mine to talk about. I'd rather talk to people about them and about what they're doing, because and just kind of conversations like this too, just free flowing, just as if you and I are sitting in the same room hanging out having a drink type of stuff.
I don't know. I think Miss Comics would tell me to get out because it's getting messy in there, so we have to be careful about that.
well, she's sitting there telling me to get out. She's got a stream in 13 minutes that I need to help her get set up. So
no. Yeah, you're fine.
I'm gonna get going.
Yeah, but anyway, before again, if you are a Rumble premium user, stay for the wrap up after, because yesterday I couldn't do it because stream issues. But if not, thank you again, everyone in chat, and of course, thank you again, ComixDad, for coming on. You're always welcome to come back. And of course, as always, I end the show. Don't forget 8 p.m. Tomorrow Eastern with Anime Guy. But as always, I end the show with One Day With You by Pogo. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your night. See you Rumble Premium users later. Have a great rest of the night, everyone. Bye.
Take care, everybody. Dara, I'll message you later, dude.
You too, good sir. Have a good one.
I